fifth inning, game 2 of this American League Championship Series. Neifi Perez to lead things off for Detroit, leading 5-3. See, every time the Athletics scored, the Tigers came right back and scored the very next half inning. Slow roller to the right side, gobbled up by Jimenez, one away. They caught up with Ken Maga in between innings and asked him about the disappointment of scoring and then giving runs back.
Well, actually, that's twice. We got a run in the first inning. Yeah, that's what you want, a shutdown. Get a chance to come in there and play with the lead. So actually in the second inning, give up one, and then, we get a nice 2-run homer by Milton and go back out there and give it up. So it's a little discouraging, but, our guys are pretty tough. We're going to fight back. There's a long way to go in this game.
Yeah, the good news is you guys did break through, put some runs on the board, and there's a lot of ball game left.
Absolutely. So let's get a couple more innings out of Elo here and see what our offense can do.
Thanks, Kitty.
All right.
Down the right field line, that will fall in a base hit for Placido Polanco, and he is 3 for 3 tonight. Boy, you can't talk enough about Polanco, who injured his shoulder in the month of August, missed a lot of time, and that's really where the Tigers began to drift after playing as the best team in baseball for the first 3.5 months. When they got him back, they're back being the Tigers.
What a big difference in that lineup when Polanco's in there. I didn't like him in the 3-hole tonight, and boy, has he delivered. He's just a professional hitter. It doesn't really matter whether you hit him first, second, third, or wherever you hit him in the lineup. He's going to hit the same.
Why didn't you like him in a 3-hole?
Well, you usually like the 3-hole hitter to have a little more power. But you know what? Jimmy's done a nice job with this lineup.
That ball hammered down the left field line. Is it fair? Is it foul? And it is a foul ball. And a good thing for Mr. Loaiza.
Well, Maglio Ordonez stood right at home plate, didn't argue this at all. It was very, very close down the line. Watch Mags look at it. He's trying to bend it around that pole, but clearly on the left side of that foul pole.
That ball was mashed. Oh. Right back to the mound. Can they turn the double play? They do. A's come to bat in the bottom of the 5th, trailing by a pair. And also on display, 23-year-old right-hander Justin Verlander. He's only allowed hits to 2 batters. Kotsay is 2 for 2. Milton Bradley 2 for 2. I beg your pardon. Jay Payton mixed in a single in the 4th. Jimenez to start things. And a strike called on the outside corner. D'Angelo Jimenez popped up to second, his only time up. Milton Bradley has knocked in all 3 runs with an RBI single and a 2-run home run.
Well, guys, there's 2 guys in this ball game today that started their professional careers when we were all trying to get our first kiss. Jimenez and Gomez both signed at 16 years old. Jimenez with the Yankees, Gomez with the Royals.
Well, Steve, I got my first kiss before I was 16.
I know you got your kiss way before 16, didn't you?
That's because you were the big stud athlete. For the rest of us mortal men out there, we were still hanging around waiting.
Oh, gosh.
Breaking ball away.
I knew you just looked at me funny when I said that, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, I know you got kissed way before 16.
Pull to the right side. Polanco from his back. Not in time. What an effort by Placido Polanco.
It's amazing. He makes a great play like that. He's upset with himself because he just couldn't get turned around. He wanted to sit up and make that throw, but his body sort of took a little bad hop there, and he couldn't finish off the play. What a great effort, though.
The catcher, number 18, Jason Kendall.
That is a complete player right there.
This becomes a very important inning now for the Oakland Athletics. After Kendall, you have Kotsay and Bradley, who are a combined 4 for 4 tonight, with 3 runs scored and 3 runs batted in.
Kendall's one of those guys that generally gives you a great at-bat, really battles up there. This A's team as a whole sees a lot of pitches. This is the inning for it.
Well, he's got a nice hole over there between first and second.
That's what you're talking about right in there with the runner being held on. Got a lot of room to hit right in that area. Big gap between first and second.
2-0 pitch. And it's ball 3.
Now you can bet the house that Kendall's taken on this pitch.
And just like last night, it was the 4th inning in last night's game with runners at second and third and nobody out when Jim Leland came to the mound to visit with Nate Robertson. Tonight it's the 5th with 1 on, nobody out, a 3-0 count, and he's out to chat with Mr. Verlander. And by the way, in last night's game, after that visit and that chat with Robertson, Robertson then struck out Chavez, Swisher, and Scudero.
Well, Jimmy's usually got a pretty nice positive message for these pitchers. And the message tonight is about the same as last night. Look, you got a lead. You're throwing the ball well. Make them hit it. We'll catch the ball behind you.
In their swing.
You know, one thing is for sure. When the pitching coach goes out there, usually can talk a little bit mechanics, slow it down. You know, pitch a little quicker, slow, whatever. But
manager goes out.
When the manager goes out there, you don't talk mechanics.
What are you talking about?
You give them a message. You got to throw strikes. We'll catch the ball behind you. We can turn a double play. Give your team a chance to make a play behind you.
3-2. And a slow roller left side, inch charging. He'll play to first. And Guillen got the foot on the bag after the high throw.
You know, Guillen may have gotten stepped on. Or he
had to go back to the bag.
Head. Let's see if he gets hit right in the head while he's trying to tag the base right there with the elbow of Kendall. Ooh. Most first basemen, remember we told you that Guillen's a shortstop. Most first basemen in that instance will not try to touch first base. If they're pulled off the bag with the throw, they'll tag the runner, not try to go back and touch first base and take your body out of the way of the play. By tagging the base, his head's right there in a spot where it can get hit.
And he made a nice play, actually, jumping for that ball, because with that spacious distance between first base and the stands, you'd have had a run scored and another guy on either second or third.
Yep. For Guillen, tonight is only his 5th start of the season as a first baseman. And it's his first start there since the final day of August.
Well, you talk about Pudge Rodriguez volunteering over there after Chris Shelton, that we talked about already, had the most starts at first, not on the playoff roster. Number 2 over there at first was Rodriguez, getting a chance to play over there, and that's sort of like an off day for him to not have to sit behind the plate. But you want Rodriguez behind the plate in the playoffs.
Now Kotsay, a pair of doubles in the game. And he takes outside for ball 1.
Yeah, especially with these young pitchers. You want an experienced catcher back there that can carry the ball game for him.
2-0. Now Kotsay ripped a double into right center field in the first inning. Scored on the base hit by Milton Bradley. He doubled down the left field line in the third. Scored on a 2-run home run from Milton Bradley. 3-0. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
Tom, before the game of the A's clubhouse, Mark Kotsay was playing dominoes with some of the A's teammates and losing badly, pushed away from the table and said, I don't think this will get any worse. When I asked him about hitting with runners in scoring position, he said that won't get any worse. He's hoping for a positive domino effect.
4-pitch walk. Boy, and that is not the time you walk the walk with a guy who's coming up now. Jackets coming off in that Tiger bullpen. 92 pitches in the game for Verlander, and there's only one out here in the bottom of the 5th. Milton Bradley 2 for 2 with 3 runs batted in. Fastball away.
That's not a good start. He needs to get ahead of Bradley and then try to go to work with his breaking stuff. Bradley's already proved last night he crushed a Zumaya 103 fastball, and he's already proved he can hit Verlander's too.
Fastball up in his zone. The left-hander. Getting ready is Wilfredo Ledesma, and the right-hander, Jason Greeley. Bradley back in the 3rd inning with Kotsay aboard. A long one to right center. His 2nd home run in this postseason. And sprinted in from 3rd.
Well, here's a situation when you're heading the count, you got to be very selective.
Oh. That's a 2-0 rip.
And that's a good 2-0 rip is right. Got a good fastball to hit, and he turned it loose.
Oh, man, you can put a good swing on a ball and not quite get it. That's why this game's so tough. Big Frank swinging a piece of iron in the on-deck circle. I don't need no stinking donut.
2-1 to Milton Bradley. Threw a fastball right by him, 99 miles per hour. But we saw last night, whether it's Zumaya on the mound, Bradley had a double against him, or Verlander tonight, Milton Bradley can hit a fastball.
Well, here's a good time to break one off on him then.
Into shallow center field. Another fastball. And Granderson's there for the 2nd out of the inning.
Well, you got to love the guts of a guy like Justin Verlander. I mean, this is a guy who's got a bunch of different pitches, but he just challenged Bradley on every one. Fastball away. Another fastball up and away. Now he knows he's in a little trouble. Challenges him with another fastball and another, and for good measure, one more time at 100 miles an hour. I know you can hit a fastball. I watched you hit one. I watched you hit my changeup out of the yard. I got a good breaking ball, but you're getting nothing but gas right here.
And again, since the visit to the mound, Verlander gets Thomas on a ground ball down to 3rd, and the struggles continue for Frank Thomas since hitting 2 home runs in the division series. He's hitless in the LCS. In Oakland, California, Game 2 of this American League Championship Series. The Tigers lead in the best of 7, 1-0. And again, a Game 2 loss would be a serious blow for the Athletics if they hope to advance to the World Series. We brought up earlier, 8 teams have lost both games 1 and 2 at home in the LCS going back to 1985. That's spanning both leagues. And all 8 went on to lose a series.
Well, you got to go back to Detroit, where Comerica Park is electric now. The joy is back in Tiger baseball in that town, and they're going crazy.
We were talking before the game, Detroit, even through lean years, it has always been a great baseball town. Looking forward to getting there Friday night.
Bring your jacket. It's going to be a little chilly.
Boy, I remember old Tiger Stadium with the Norm Cashes and the Al-K lines and the Willie Hortons, the Mickey Lolages. That town loves its baseball.
How about the Gibsons and the Whitakers and the Trammels?
Woo, that 84 team.
Goodness.
Sparky Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Morris, Dan Petrie.
I'm just a little older than you, Steve.
Hey, we all have our memories.
Yeah. Even remembering if you were trying to get a first kiss at 16.
Bill Freeham.
Did he get one at 16?
Swung on and missed by Guillen. One away. Here's tonight's WebMD injury report, focusing on Sean Casey's calf injury that happened in the 6th inning last night. A small tear in the left calf muscle. There's an outside shot. Casey's back. Should this go to a game 6 or 7, more than likely will not be back at all. And debatable that should the Tigers get to the World Series, if he could play. That's a big hit. To get an inside look at injuries affecting your team, go to WebMD.com and search sports injury. Line one, Hopper. Nice play by Jimenez. 2 away. Speaking of injuries, let's check in with Chris Myers.
Well, Tom, this didn't make headline news, but our own Lou Piniella, leaving the game last night, bumped his head on our trailer, and his head was bleeding today. Had to see the trainer to have stitches in that head. He's okay. With the stitches where the next team that hires him as a manager wants to make sure his brains didn't fall out. And we care because we care, Lou. You know that.
Thanks, Chris.
We were worried about you. I mean, you and I and Steve were walking out of here last night. You duck underneath, where all the TV trucks, and then bang, next thing you know, you've got blood running down the side of your head. You got woozy. Let's take a look at that thing here. I mean, you actually got stitched up today.
Well, we got some stitches and we got some super glue in there.
Jim Leyland had the greatest line. He goes, I hope you don't have a concussion. You might take a job you don't want.
That was a great line.
But listen, where can you do a job, bang your head, and still get paid?
That's exactly right.
I've been doing it for a long time.
Well, we're glad you're all right, big fella. We were worried about you last night.
Thank you.
Well, he went down to one knee. The truck almost knocked him out.
One thing for sure, I'll be walking around the trucks from now on.
Absolutely. 1-1 account on Monroe, who has knocked in a couple of runs tonight. A sac fly in the second, a run-scoring single in that 4-run fourth.
I think this is a good move by Jason Kendall right out here. We already talked about it earlier in the game. I think Monroe matches up good against Loaiza, especially if he's going to try to throw that 4-seamer by him. Good power. Monroe hit a bullet up the middle to drive in a run in his last at-bat, and Kendall wants to make sure they're on the same page right here.
Again, a reminder, tomorrow night, game 1 of the National League Championship Series from Shea Stadium. Jeff Weaver and Tom Glavine, the game 1 starter. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. Only the 77th pitch of the game by Loaiza. And that one is shot into right center field. A base hit by Monroe. And he makes a turn and advances on to second. So a real good night today. Steve Lyons, you said you liked the matchup of Monroe against Loaiza, despite the fact he was only 1 for 12 in his career coming in.
He's a little bit different guy now. He told me before he's really concentrating on hitting the ball up the middle. And look how far that ball gets into the strike zone. This is a tougher angle. This ball looks like it's out in front of him, but we're looking at a different angle. That ball has traveled very deep into the strike zone before Monroe tries to hit it the other way. It's impossible to hit that ball as hard as he did the other way if he's out in front.
Alexis Gomez looks at a strike. He had a big 2-run single off the glove of Eric Chavez in the 4th.
Well, Leland's magic is working again. He puts Gomez in the lineup, comes up with the bases loaded, delivers. First time up, he drilled the ball to right field. Saw that sign earlier in the game, Leland for governor. I believe it.
He can run for the king of Michigan if there were such a thing, if the Tigers are playing the next round.
He is a guy that has such a great combination of being a gruff, no nonsense, you better come here to play kind of guy with a huge heart, very emotional, and not afraid to show it.
That ball hammered by Gomez in a deep right center field, and the magic touch indeed continues for Jim Leyland. Gomez in the lineup has knocked in 4 runs tonight. And it is 7-3 Tigers here in the 6th inning.
Well, what did Jim say in the manager's office before the ball game? I put this young man out there. He just might run into one.
What time is it?
7 o'clock now. They talked about him being a great batting practice hitter with a ton of power.
Well, one thing for sure, it's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world.
So Alexis Gomez has lined out to right. Lou talked about his first time up. He hit a ball right on the screws at Bradley. A 2-run single in the 4th. Now a 2-run home run, giving the Tigers a 4-run lead. Brandon Inge with a count of 0-2. Saw Godan again throwing in the bullpen. Off the end of the bat, a fly ball to Kotze, and that's that. But Loaiza through 6 innings tonight has given up 7 runs. Athletics come to bat, bottom of the 6th inning, trailing 7-3. Strike 1 to Eric Chavez. Let's send it downstairs to Chris Myers.
Tom, 34-year-old Major League pitcher Corey Lytle, as many know by now, died in a plane crash in New York City piloting the aircraft. He had been with 6 different Major League teams, including the Oakland A's in 2001, 2002, when they were a playoff team. Baseball holding a moment of silence earlier before this game for Corey Lytle. Ken Maka.
The ball in the air way back into right center field, and Chavez plays long ball. Of course, Chavez and Barry Zito were both here when Corey Lytle was here.
Number 16, Jay Payton.
Makes it a 7-4 game.
Tom, as you mentioned, Eric Chavez, Barry Zito, some of the closer teammates of Lytle on the team. Ken Maka, his manager, a quiet moment before the game, talking about the kind of guy he was, the kind of player he was, and that he would be on everyone's mind as they played the game here tonight. And it made Maka think about, as he told me, that you should enjoy every moment of, whether it's every inning, every day in your life, no matter how old or how young you are. So Corey Lytle remembered here tonight. Eric Chavez, one of his teammates, on cue, delivering a timely home run in his memory.
Certainly our thoughts and prayers out to Corey Lytle, his family, and his friends. Lou Piniella, you lost a teammate suddenly, the great Thurman Munson.
Yeah, back in 1979, August 2nd, I remember getting a phone call from Mr. Steinbrenner and letting myself and my family know about Thurman and what a shock it was. And boy, when you lose a teammate, it's like losing your brother.
In the fraternity of baseball, you feel like whether you played with Corey Lytle or not, you feel like you did lose a teammate. Everybody involved in the game, and our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to his family.
Jay Payton looks at a strike. 1-2 the count. Activity again in the bullpen. Again, it's Ledesma and Greeley. And this is off the outside corner. Should Payton reach? I think Leland's coming out there to get him. What do you think, Lou?
I think he'll come out to get him. He might get him even if he gets Payton out.
Lined into left field. It hangs up there long enough for Monroe to get it. Couple of hard hit balls to begin this 6th against Verlander. Well, now do you want to turn around Swisher? Yes is the answer. Or Mr. Piniella, maybe you've managed a time or two before. We'll take a break and be right back. 25-year-old left-hander Wilfredo Ledesma takes over on the mound. Began the year at AAA Toledo before joining the Tigers for the remainder of the season on June the 15th. They picked up Ledesma, did the Tigers, from Boston in the Rule 5 draft back in 2002. Threw the ball very, very well for Detroit in 24 games, 7 as a starter. Nick Swisher fouls it back out of play. 1 in, 1 out. Nobody on last to the 6th inning. A 7-4 Tigers lead here in game 2. Rule 5 draft, for those who don't know what that is, if a player's been in an organization's minor league system for 5 years and is not on a 40-man roster, the rule was created in essence to allow that minor leaguer to go to another major league franchise where he can be given a chance to play at the big league level. But when you bring somebody over in the Rule 5 draft, they go on the big league roster, or you have to send him back for $50,000 from a team that he came from.
It's a fairly cheap purchase when you think of what free agent pitchers make.
Well, Ledesma's one of those guys, pretty straightforward mechanically, very, very sound, repeats his delivery almost every time exactly the same way. And as a lefty, he can bring it. Got good enough power fastball to throw the ball by you, so you have to respect his breaking stuff.
2-2 on Nick Swisher. Out of play. Swisher has struck out twice tonight. Both of those at bats, of course, against Verlander.
You know, I didn't see the Detroit club all that much this summer, but looking at the power that they throw at you, you can see why their pitching has been so good.
You know, one of the guys that we didn't mention, too, was their first-round draft pick out of North Carolina this year, Miller.
Andrew Miller,
who actually came up and threw a big league game, and he can flat-out bring it. Footnote to that, the Oregon State Beavers beat them in the College World Series this year. Thank you.
Yes, Miller out of the University of North Carolina, and Steve's alma mater, collegiate baseball champions. Why not brag about it?
Someone's got to.
3-2 to Swisher.
Great move here by Leland, switching Swisher to the other side. Only 8 of his 35 homers come from the right side. Leland wanted to make sure Verlander got out of this game with a lot of confidence, take him out, slap him on the rear end, and say, you know what, you had another great start for us. It's a quality start. You're into the 6th. You only gave up 4 runs, and we're going to win this ball game for you.
And that's very important for the psyche of a young pitcher.
Sure. I don't care how much success you had this year.
Pretty good battle here. Ledesma throwing fastball after fastball at 95, and Swisher wasting them. Well, the Athletics have no chance in this series if Chavez and Swisher don't get it going. And throw in Frank Thomas, who doesn't have a hit yet in the first 2 games. So that trio better get it rolling, or it'll be a 2-day trip into the Motor City and then back home. Swisher takes a walk. Good at bat.
Good at bat.
When we talk about, you know, Chavez obviously hit the home run here in the 6th inning. Chavez had some big at-bats yesterday and couldn't deliver.
Well, that last at bat yesterday, he drove that ball to the deepest part of the ballpark out there in left center field. And today he's followed up swinging the bat pretty well.
Now Scudero struck out looking and popped up to first. Big hole on the right side. And Scudero, first pitch, hacking, pops it up. 1 away. Here you have a reliever just comes in the game and walks the first batter he faces. And the number 8 hitter in the lineup, Scudero, first pitch swinging up around his chest.
And it's uncharacteristic because this team as a whole sees a lot of pitches. They work counts very well. They do things like Swisher did in his at-bat. And in a situation when you're down by 3, you got to make a pitcher work a little harder. Every guy that comes to the plate needs to act a little bit more like a leadoff hitter until you put yourself in a position where one swing ties it or puts you ahead.
That's where the game has changed so much. So much.
And in theory, that is the right approach. What happens invariably, that's when you try to overdo and you make silly outs.
In there, a strike to D'Angelo Jimenez. 1 for 2 at an infield hit back in the 5th. That's why the most misleading statistic in all of baseball. A guy's batting average when swinging at the first pitch, because they only count the balls that are put in play. They don't count when you foul one off and you're behind 0-1 in the count, and then what happens the remainder of the at-bat. If you put it in play, that's the only time it counted. So all of a sudden you become a 500 hitter on the first pitch in an at-bat if you swing at the first pitch in back-to-back at-bats and you go 1 for 2 putting it in play. Very, very misleading stat.
I'll tell you, Lou, I don't know how you approach it. I was a first ball hitter. I wanted to hit the first fastball I saw. I didn't want to get deep into a count because I wasn't a very confident hitter. Plus, I usually like to swing at the first pitch. That way my 192 batting average would get off the scoreboard and people wouldn't see it for that long.
Well, you're better hitters in baseball, and the ones that drive in the most runs invariably are the ones that can hit deep in the count and make the pitcher throw more pitches. The more pitches a pitcher will throw, the more apt he is to make a mistake.
Yep. You get a chance to see everything he has, can make adjustments. Bobby Abreu, one of the best in the game.
And here you have Jimenez, who's making Ledesma work. He walked the first batter he faced when he came in the game. Scudero swung at the first pitch and popped up. And now the third hitter he faces, a 3-1 count.
Ledesma's huge here because even though Jim Leyland got Verlander out of the game on a nice note, you got to feel like the A's are happy to have Verlander out of there too. Let's get Ledesma.
Fly ball into left center field. This should do it, and it will. The home run by Chavez makes it a 7-4 game back after a break from your local Fox station. Taking over on the mound for Oakland following Esteban Loaiza, who allows the A's franchise record 7 earned runs in his 6 innings tonight, is Chad Godin. Base hit into right field on the first pitch by Curtis Granderson. That's his first hit tonight, 3rd in the first 2 games.
Remember now with the Oakland lead, they can be a little more aggressive. Granderson has base stealing speed, just hasn't had the opportunity to learn how to steal bases. Might see him being a little more aggressive now.
And if I were the infielders from Oakland, I'd be looking for a push punt or something here from Perez also.
Chavez in on the grass at 3rd, and they pitch out. Thinking something might be up. Ball 1 away. Well, now after they pitch out, they're not going to double up on pitch outs. Would you start maybe a runner here?
I like the idea of bunting in this situation. I really do. You've got a 3-run lead. What you want to do in these last few innings,
as he does indeed put down the bunt perfectly,
is tack on runs. The other team has to score 2.
While we have a moment, let's send it to Los Angeles, and here's Jeannie Zalasko.
Well, this is not what Tom Glavine had in mind when he went to work today, but soft toss was all he got when the rain moved in. Game 1 of the NLCS between the Mets and the Cardinals is now scheduled for tomorrow night on Fox. Same matchup, Mr. Glavine versus Mr. Weaver, again tomorrow night on Fox.
We're very much looking forward to that series kicking off at Shea Stadium. Our Nissan game summary. Jim Leyland told us before the game, I got a good feeling about Alexis Gomez. He might run into one tonight, meaning a home run. He's driven in 4 and has a 2-run home run. Bradley has knocked in 3 of the 4 Oakland runs. Thomas and Swisher hitless in this series. Well, now a visit to the mound by Kurt Young, the Oakland pitching coach. Joe Kennedy, the left-hander, is ready in the bullpen.
A little different style. Leland has been making most of the visits to the mound, and for Oakland, it's been the pitching coach. Well, Godin pitched last night, the same situation as tonight, behind in the score. His job is to keep the game in check.
Polanco with the 3 hits has just been unbelievable. I mean, this guy hit .330 last year. Had the injury, separated shoulder, hit just under 300, but this guy can flat out hit, and certainly the A's understand that now. They're not going to give him a chance to drive in that run from second.
Well, I know this, that he has killed Oakland pitching.
Oh, yeah.
No question. But I'll tell you this, when you're behind in the score and you're putting runners on and you got the middle part of the lineup coming up, you're looking to give up a big inning.
So you don't agree with the move here by Ken Maka?
Well, I'm not saying that I don't agree. What I'm saying basically is that base runners score. And when you're behind in the score, you don't want to be putting too many people on, because you've got the big guys in your lineup coming up. A ball in the gap, you got 2 more runs in.
Just soon see Polanco get a base hit than have Mags hit a 3-run shot.
And Maglio Ordonez digging in with 2 on and 1 man out. Check swing and a foul ball. Ordonez has bounced into 14 double plays this year, and Godin trying to make it 15. Steady as she goes for the Tigers. They've been wearing it out the entire postseason with runners in scoring position. Tonight, no different.
Well, a little pride put back into that English D, isn't there?
Breaking ball, foul tipped again for strike 2. Maglio Sr. has 1 G in his name. He put in a 2nd G for his son for good luck. Ordonez originally in the Astros organization, and they let him go after he signed as a 16-year-old out of Venezuela. And he learned English by watching closed caption broadcast on television once he came to the United States. 1-2 on Ordonez. This could be that double play, and they barely get the out at second.
Tough play for a middle infielder. A big hopping ball. You're not sure who's going to catch it. You're not sure if you're going to flip the ball or take the play yourself. Everything's so close. And of course, Polanco, you know he's hustling all the way. Just complicates matters there at second.
Well, now Ken Maka going to come get Godin and bring on the left-hander Kennedy to turn around Guillen. Tigers lead 7-4, batting in the 7th with runners on the corners and 2 away. Joe Kennedy comes on to try to retire Carlos Guillen, having him turn around to bat right-handed. He hit .291 as a right-handed batter, .332 as a lefty.
From the left side, he's got more power, but believe me, he's very capable from the right side of driving in runs.
0-1 the count. Foul out of play, and Kennedy coming in throwing strikes ahead, 0-2. Guillen 2 for 7 in his career against Kennedy.
You wonder why Kennedy comes in this situation being left-handed. He's actually more effective against right-handers than he is against left-handers.
Runners on the corners, 2 away. Lined, caught by the shortstop Scudero. So the A's will bat last to the 7th, trailing by 3. Bottom of the 7th inning, and the home team trailing 7-4. Top of the order against Wilfredo Ledesma. It'll be Kendall Kotsay and Milton Bradley. Double barrel action in the Detroit bullpen. Again, the right-hander is Jason Greeley, joined by the southpaw Jamie Walker.
Well, Leland's got Greeley ready for Frank Thomas if he needs him. And he's got the other left-hander, Walker, which is a short guy, for Eric Chavez.
Popped up. One away as we begin the seventh tonight. HP personality profile focuses on Jason Kendall. His father, of course, a big league player. Gladiator, his favorite movie. And like Steve Lyons, favorite Halloween costume is a vampire. Stone Cold Steve Austin, his favorite wrestler.
Who's your favorite wrestler, Tom?
Used to be George the Animal Smith. His son is a linebacker for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Laurinaitis. That's my guy.
Well, my guy was Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely. And there's strike.
Pretty good curveball here from Ledesma. Nice tight rotation.
0-2 pitch. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. No chance. 2 away.
Boy, those are the kind of at-bats you take where you just feel so helpless. This is an unhittable pitch.
Number 22.
You wonder why you woke up.
Bradley.
They're going to leave in Ledesma, forcing Milton Bradley to bat right-handed. He's down a strike. Bradley a good night. A run-scoring single in the first, broke a 1-1 tie with a 2-run home run off Verlander in the third, and then flied out to center field his last at bat in the fifth.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Leland does if Bradley gets on with Big Thomas coming up next. He's got the right-hander up there for him, but with Chavez, he's going to have to use 3 pitchers this inning if they all come up to the plate.
High drive into deep left center field, and Bradley has homered for the second time tonight. And now it's a 2-run game. Jim Leland will come get Ledesma and bring on the right-hander to face Thomas. Let's face it, he's just trying to get through the seventh, give it to Big Zamaya and then Todd Jones. Jason Greeley taking over on the mound, pitched in 51 games during the regular season. He's on to face Frank Thomas in their strike. Greeley worked solely in relief for the first time in his career, spending his first full year at the major league level. Came up originally as a big leaguer with the Florida Marlins. 0-1 pitch. Fastball away. Frank Thomas admiring the home run, the second of the game by Milton Bradley, bringing the A's within 2. Wow.
Wow is right.
What a night for Bradley.
Yeah, remember we talked about game ones. Milton Bradley always showing flashes of that 5-tool reputation that he has had. Saw a lot of those tools tonight. He had some outstanding defensive plays going out of the yard, both right and left-handed.
Boy, Thomas got a hanging breaking ball right there and missed it.
Boy, that is picture. Oh my goodness! Look at that swing. Look at the balance.
The
Bradley
extension.
equally as devastating from the right side. Far fewer at-bats hitting right-handed, nearly as many home runs.
Struck him out. Frank Thomas, 4 at-bats, has struck out 3 times. We go to the 8th. The Tigers lead by 2. Tigers in front 7-5 as they come to bat here in the top of the 8th inning against Joe Kennedy. Kennedy came on to get the final out, leaving 2 runners stranded in the 7th. Ivan Rodriguez, Craig Monroe, and Alexis Gomez coming up in the Tiger 8th. Activity in both bullpens. For the Tigers, they have Fernando Rodney getting loose. He pitched a couple of innings in last night's game.
And Leland was talking before the ball game.
On the ground to the shortstop. One away.
But he didn't want to use Rodney if he didn't have to tonight. But he's got that 7-5 lead, and he needs a big guy.
I liked what he said after that, though, Lou. So a lot of people might have been asking me last night with a 4-run lead, you know, why I'm bringing in Rodney, why I'm bringing in Zamaya, why I'm bringing in my closer. He said this time of year, I'm not going to lose a playoff game without my best guys on the mound.
Yeah, your players would wonder if you lose a ball game without your best people out there.
Well, his point always is if I bring in someone who isn't my best and they give it up, I have to bring in my best after them anyway. Might as well start with my best.
And the thing about Leland through the years, he's always said, I'm not afraid to lose today to be able to win tomorrow. Meaning during the course of a 162 game schedule, there are going to be times when you do run maybe your 4th or 5th or 6th guy out of that bullpen into a situation to make sure you save somebody else that you might need the next day, but not in the playoffs.
Not in postseason.
Been a big night for Monroe. In near a strike. Let's send it down to Chris Myers.
Tom, Craig Monroe, one of those believers in Jim Leland. Monroe, one of 9 current Tigers from that 2003 team that lost 119 games. He said Leland came in, gave us players a chance to find out who we are, and instead of wondering how we would lose, he focused on telling us to think which guy will win it for us tonight. He gave me a chance. He's given other guys a chance, as we've seen the way he's worked with his starting pitchers in this series, and tonight giving the chance to Alexis Gomez.
Well, I managed against Jimmy in the National League for 3 years when he had those good Pirate teams, and it was always a challenge. He handled his pitching very, very well. And your best chances with him is if you had some type of matchup coming off your bench that could counter some of his moves.
Of course, your 1990 Cincinnati Reds beat Jim Leland's Pittsburgh Pirates in a 6-game National League Championship Series that year.
Some of the best baseball I have ever seen played on both sides.
That ball hammered down the left field line, and it is a foul ball by maybe a foot or 2 at most.
Well, Monroe gets a fastball, and he just drilled that ball. The ball just hooked right at the last second. Umpire Riley's had 2 tough calls over there tonight.
Yeah, that's tough right down there. That's a good-looking balanced swing, and poor little girl down there at the end got hit right off the shoulder. She tried to get out of the way, and the ball just kept finding it.
Monroe is swinging a miss for strike 3. Boy, he's had a good night tonight, though. Couple of hits, 2 runs batted in, and now Alexis Gomez getting a start tonight for Jim Leland in his 6th inning. A 2-run home run to right center field. He's driven in 4 of the 7 Detroit runs.
Very nice swing, Steve.
How about a guy busting onto the seam?
Boy, now he's trying to bunt for a base hit.
Do a little bit of everything.
You see right there, Gomez in 103 at-bats, appearing in 62 games, knocked in 6 runs all year. 2/3 that number here tonight.
Well, Leland's feeling like a genius now just by having him in the lineup.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Jimenez lifted.
And that's where Oakland misses Ellis. A few balls tonight have found that hole up the middle. And one of the constants for Oakland all year has been their outstanding defense.
It's just lack of concentration right here. You don't get the short hop out of that.
15, Brandon in.
And Gomez doesn't run that well. You have enough time to make this play. Just didn't get around it and in front of it. Right off the tip of the webbing of your glove.
E4. So now Brandon Inge bats with a man aboard and 2 out here in the 8th inning. Detroit, 7 runs, 10 hits. The Athletics, 5 runs and 8 hits.
Yeah, Ron Washington's done an outstanding job with those infielders from Oakland, but boy, he's going to have them working a little harder over in Detroit.
Well, he didn't know he'd have to go 3 or 4 on the depth chart for his middle infield in this postseason. Mark Ellis committed 2 errors the entire season as their everyday second baseman when healthy.
There he is talking to Ron Washington.
Well, Ken Maka couldn't say enough in our conversation with him about Ron Washington and the job he's done. Bouncing ball down to third. Chavez, the short way to win the inning. So here come the Athletics in the 8th. Chavez, Payton, Swisher. They're hoping for more. Bottom of the 8th inning. Fernando Rodney takes over on the mound. And he faces Eric Chavez, Jay Payton, and Nick Swisher.
2 out of the 3 hitters that he should face in this inning are left-handed. Rodney's outstanding against left-handers, mainly because of the great changeup that he has, and started him off with a changeup for a strike.
Looked like another one.
Yeah. You see that late down and away movement. He's got such great arm action on it. He gets hitters to swing at his motion rather than the ball.
Well, the secret with the changeup is that good arm speed. Hitter can't pick it up.
It's amazing to think both Rodney and his right-handed running mate down in that bullpen, Joe Zamaya, each of them faced exactly 109 left-handed batters this year. Rodney only gave up 22 hits, so they hit 202 against him. Zamaya only gave up 20. They hit 183 against him. And when your top 2 right-handers coming out of the bullpen are allowing a 200 batting average to left-handed hitters, the opponents are in a world of hurt.
And 3 of the first 4 pitches, changeups. Well, Rodney does it with the changeup. Zamaya does it with velocity.
No sign of Zamaya.
And then you've got Walker over there that does a nice job. He's saving him for a specialty lefty just in case he needs him.
2-2 to count on Eric Chavez leading off the Oakland 8th inning. Detroit leading 7-5 in Game 2 of this championship series, and Chavez gone swinging.
Well, it's nice to be able to rear back and throw 96 on your fastball, too, if you're thinking changeup and it just blows you away.
Number 16, Jay Payton.
And nothing special about that pitch. He basically threw it belt high and said, I've thrown you 3 changeups already. If you've got that in the back of your mind, you're never catching up with this one.
Right over the top, and he just let it go.
Now Jay Payton 1 for 3, singled in the 4th, line to center in the 6th. He's down a strike. The A's scored in the opening inning on a single by Milton Bradley. But in the 2nd inning, the Tigers scored the game on a double, a ground out, and a fly ball. A 2-run home run by Bradley in the 3rd made it 3-1 Athletics. But then in the very next half inning, Esteban Loaiza touched for 4 runs on 4 hits to make it a 5-3 game. It went to 7-3 on a 2-run home run by Gomez in the 6th. And the Athletics with single runs in the 6th inning on a home run by Chavez. And then in the 7th, the 2nd homer of the game by Bradley. But they're down 2, and they're down to their final 5 outs.
You know, in Oakland, when they score 4 or more runs, are 79 and 24 for the season.
It's an outstanding record, and it's a tribute to their outstanding pitching staff. The opposite side of that coin is that the Tigers are the best in Major League Baseball at winning games if they score 4 or less, which is even a greater tribute to the pitching staff on that team.
Oh, yeah. Swing and a miss by Payton. Foul tipped. In fact, into the mid of Ivan Rodriguez. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rodney. This more to see moment presented by Sharp Aquos Liquid Crystal Television. Milton Bradley, a home run left-handed, a home run right-handed. First athletic to ever do that. And he becomes the 6th player in A's franchise history to knock in 4 runs in a postseason game.
Well, Rodney's come in here and just blown 2 fastballs by 2 pretty good hitters.
Now Nick Swisher. First pitch change up, a strike.
Now, you know Swisher's going to see some change-ups here. That's where he's had his problems this year. Great fastball hitter. Really has had trouble with breaking stuff and change-ups.
We see Thomas, Swisher, and Scudero. Hitless in 19 at-bats through the first 2 games of this LCS. We said it earlier. And it's not going out on a limb, not telling anybody something they don't know. If Swisher and Thomas are not driving in runs, the A's have no chance.
Well, Swisher's always been a streaky type hitter. He's a little cold now. Hopefully he'll get going for Oakland's sake. Well, I think he was totally fooled on this pitch. I think he was sitting on a changeup or a fastball, and he threw him the changeup. He was way, way out in front, pulled his head, had no chance on that pitch.
Going to see another one. Either bounce a changeup or throw him a high fastball here.
Threw a fastball at 98 right by him. Fernando Rodney fans the side in the 8th. At the end of 8, when the Tigers lead, they're 83-4.